So I've been meeting with all the sovereign wealth funds. I've been meeting with, 100 different investors, hedge funds, family office investors that are interested. I've been meeting with banks and people that own banks or run banks. I've been meeting with fund managers that offer financial products. I've been meeting with regulators in every jurisdiction. And my message, by the way, is very, very straightforward. My message is we now have digital capital. Bitcoin is digital capital, is digital gold. On top of digital capital, we have a new asset class called digital credit. Digital credit strips the volatility from the capital and provides yield, income. So the simple idea is if you have a 5-year-old kid, you can give them $1 million worth of land in Manhattan, that's capital, and tell them wait 30 years and then maybe they'll be rich. But there are no cash flows. Or you can give them a credit instrument that pays them $10,000 a month forever, starting now.
Sailor's great at long lists of things. He sure is. I wonder how many times he repeats the same list. I know we hear Manhattan a whole hell of a lot of time. Manhattan. He's always talking about Manhattan. Cyberspace, Manhattan, all those docks with all those banks. And of course, the price starts dumping on an early Monday morn. Holy smokes, it's Misco in the house. Misco and Fish, both on a morning stream. What is the market changing? Has there been a shift in the market? Misco and Fish? What the hell's going on? Look at this. You might say that we've extended. This is the 4-hour chart. Noisy little so-and-so. Useless, by the way, the 24-hour stream went down last night after 11 days. 11-day live stream. It's pretty funny. But it's up again. I put it up again this morning when I saw it. Because the first thing I do when I wake up, I got this little TV in a fireplace. Like I click on the 24-hour live stream with the chart. And it didn't work, and I knew something was amiss. Anyway, we're struggling to hit this 200 moving average. At the end of the day, if we're not above 200 moving average, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? We're not really. We're like a C-string hockey team, just thinking that we're great. We're going to win the C-string cup this year. Who cares? No one's even going to see it. And so we initially had this confluential area of 96.2, which was once upon a time the 200 moving average. It is coming down on us hard, which is advantageous to a certain degree because it's less momentum coming down on the 200 moving average. So the headwinds that we will incur won't be that great. Oh my God. My stream just went down 1 second. There we go. And Carl Elder. Carl Elder, Fish, and Misco. It's an old reunion 2023 here going on here. So we got to get to the 200 moving average. Today's price prediction, or it's not even a prediction. It's where we got to be to have an honest conversation with ourselves about what Bitcoin's actually doing. 93.7. And concurrently, it will just be whatever tomorrow. If we sit here and do nothing all day, we will just end up at this 200 moving average will come lower and lower till it hits us. Price doesn't go up; it just comes down, and then we'll be over it, and we'll think that we're in a bullish zone, but really, we've just lowered the bar. The price action got a participation award. It just stood its ground. I'm not leaving 91-ish, 91.5-ish. I'm not going to go up. So the 200 moving average being the woke participation award giver was like, guess what, price action? You're good just the way you are. I'm going to come down, so I'll cross under you. You'll look good. You'll feel good. But will we? Not really. We need price action to pump. I do still believe we will hit our bull market rejection zone of 98.3 as the peepers here. Let's go 98.3. And that would be somewhat confluent to the 50 moving average careening down and this channel of ascension that we just nipped and tucked into. We broke out, but again, we're just oscillating amongst this 20 moving average, right? We're not really doing anything. You know, it's if I were a trader, which I'm not, the easiest thing to do is just mean revert to the 20 moving average. You know, if we get uncomfortably above it, you know it's going to mean revert. If we get uncomfortably below it, we know we're going to pump to it. We won't necessarily, get all-time highs, but there'll be little windows of what you can do in around the 20 moving average if you get so bored. But my advice to any bored investor is to change the channel. Pick up a trombone or a karate suit, get a hobby, right? It's the boredom that kills you. So I've seen a lot of content about the apathetic top, right? Like we lost steam at 126 due to complete market meh. It's 126. Can you believe it? Meh. I can believe it. And meh. Right. So we have this apathetic price action margin that's not getting people excited. And was I talking about this in that house rant video about without price action go? Oh no! I made a car video. That's right. I was I tried my hand at a car video. I'll cut it up this week just to provide a little more content in this sea of boredom price action. When I drove to Portage La Prairie, which is 45 minutes on the perimeter or on the Trans-Canada Highway, just glued the old Osmo 3 to the speedometer type thing and did some rants in the car. And it was a little bright. I don't wear sunglasses, but it was bright. And the thing about the Osmo 3, because it's 4K, it's very Ren and Stimpy-esque for my ego, let's say. There's a lot of things you can do with the Osmo 3. One is glamour. You can put a glamour filter on. I guess this is what they do in TikTok. Holy smokes, we got someone on Rumble this morning. The market has shifted, my friends. We got Misco, Fish, Carl Elder, and someone on Rumble, NM Steve C. Maybe this is the beginning of the next leg up. Anyway, it's so this is an iPhone 6S, and it's not 4K. It's just 1080, just to keep the buffering down. But I've noticed those videos in the Osmo 3 because they're so 4K, they're so high res. It's like it shows every little Ren and Stimpy on my face. Every wrinkle, every pore, every skin blotch. It's very humbling, and to a certain degree, it's like a weird aesthetic punishment I'm putting myself through seeing those. Like I do not enjoy seeing my head that big in close up, but it's nice. It's humbling for me to see that. Like, oh, that's what you look like up close. Not always. No, most people will never really see that, right? No, you make a video of yourself in 4K with your head in the frame. It's very revealing as to how old you are, etc. But I always said, wrinkles and gray hair tell everyone where you've been and where you haven't been. That's my rationalization anyway. Now, one would expect in this sea of meh, market not really doing anything, but oscillating. We're basically in, so back in the currency trading days, you had the open and the close. That was the volatility. So in a 6-hour window, let's say the New York Open, 8:30, 7:30, depending on what the hell it is, you had about an hour where there was volatility, and it just like, it's like you got out of the waves, and then the rest of the day, it just, in this channel all day long. Arguably is easier to trade that channel than it was the volatility. We are in a weird Christopher Nolan way in that no volatility area where the price is just going up, being pushed by the subtle breath of bots, bullish and bearish, right? So we just see this now. It's just, we go from kind of uptrend to downtrend, but make no mistake, we're sideways. So what could we expect? Well, we could expect this. We came bingo off of here, retested this, and up to here. So look at this. Look at this, my friends. We have the 50 moving average careening down on this channel of ascension with the bull market rejection zone. And as I was talking, I noticed I entered almost a Bob Ross type of approach to TA. The 50 moving average is careening to this happy little channel of ascension. And look at this. Wow, it's a big set of eyes. Big set of eyes just looking at you saying, you're okay. You're going to be just fine. We'll keep those eyes there. Everybody needs a pair of eyes looking at them saying, God loves you, right? And enough of that. So you can see how this would be how would this be? Maybe by the end of the week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. We could get the next Monday or Tuesday. We could maybe pump up to the bull market rejection zone. This will be it. I know everyone that watches this channel knows how important this level is, the 98.3. It's going to be a one for the books to see, because make no mistake, we can bust over it on the daily. We can bust over it on, where are we here? On 98.3, we'll move her over here. Let's see if there's any confluential. Not really. We'd be over the 200 moving average and not really at this channel of ascension, but we can almost change this channel of ascension to a channel of eternal monotony. Let's do it. Or at least augment the channel. Yeah, that makes a little more sense, right? A little more sense. We still have that 105.8 when we were hella bullish. Now, this is where the bull market rejection zone is here. So now if we kind of carry this out, yeah, it's almost confluent with this channel of ascension getting. So we would hit our head kind of on this, maybe pop over. We just threw a wick over here. No one noticed, right? Because the channel wasn't there. But now that the channel's here, throw a wick over here, and we could get up and above the 4-hour chart. Everyone get excited, but don't. We could get up and above this channel of ascension on the daily. Everyone would get excited, but don't. Here's where we have to take it seriously on the weekly chart. Here is happy little peepers, fish. Who doesn't like some happy little peepers in Monday morning? Eh? The frost on the ground. We'll put some frost here. Maybe we'll build a... What I always liked about Bob Ross is that he would always somewhat overplay his artistic card, so to speak. Like he would have an unbelievable painting. Unbelievable. And the funny thing is, when we were young, so I'm talking like Duke's age 10, 12, when Bob Ross was on, we knew it was on at like 3 o'clock on PBS or something like that. It was our channel 3. Public broadcasting, whatever the PBS was. We all know I don't know if PBS is around anymore, but we knew, and we'd be like playing War or something outside. Because back in the day, like when I was a little kid, we played outside all day. Our parents would force breakfast down our throat. We'd begrudgingly eat it. It usually was garbage, like cereal. And then we'd go out all day and play War all over the neighborhood, like till dinner. But we knew at 3 o'clock, we'd be like, hey, time out. Bob Ross is on. And we'd go into my house and we'd watch Bob Ross in silence. It's really weird because when you think about like a bunch of rambunctious 10 to 12-year-old boys coming out from playing War, running into the house and sitting there just watching Bob Ross for 30 minutes or whatever. But he always had this amazing ability to paint this amazing picture, and then at the end where you're like, that's perfect, Bob. It's a perfect painting. And be like, but you know what? I think today maybe a happy little tree lives right in the middle of it. And he will put this massive tree in front of everything. And you'd say to yourself, no, don't do it, Bob. But by the end of the thing, Bob was right. That happy little tree just lives here now forever, just looking out over the lake and the mountains and that beautiful sunset. Now I guess I've almost turned into a Bill Clinton there. If you can get that vocal fry at the back there, that vocal fry, it sounds more like a Bill Clinton than it does a Bob Ross. Anyway, what the hell am I sipping into this morning? Yeah, so we can go over it on the 4-hour chart. We can go over it on the daily, but we have to close the weekly. Now, this isn't Billy Bob Clinton, Derek Groya. This isn't loss, right? This is just historical echoes. Every time we can't manage to close the 38.2% fib on the weekly, it is indicative of the final blow to the bull market. Now the question is the bull market intact? Is the 4-year cycle intact? It's the age-old dilemma. And I think it was on Drew's channel last Tuesday where it kind of dawned on me that these rent-seeking reptilian parasitic class that are running the government and the Fed and, all the institutional hedge funds and what have you, they're coming into this market not really knowing its origin story or its historical cycles. And they're just, they don't care. They don't really time markets this big money. They just get exposure when everyone agrees at the board meeting and they go in. There's no young guy in there going, well, there's historically, there's a 4-year cycle. We could probably wait for what in the cycle, it's called the bear market, right? They're intergenerational species here. They don't care about a 4-year cycle. They're in it to win it for the long haul. However, they do get the knees put to their neck by their clients. Their clients do represent a selling and a buying power that they have to adhere to. But I do believe when it comes to like nation states, we hear all these crazy stories about nation states. Every time the price goes down, we go, oh, a nation state bought $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Oh, I see. And then the price went down. These are the people I'm talking about. They're just getting their package in, they're getting their exposure, and they're waiting, for generations. They understand the importance of Bitcoin. They're not really trying to time the market. As you get older and in this industry for long enough, the Bitcoin industry, you realize that timing the market is somewhat silly. You just inevitably the price goes up. Sometimes it takes its time, but inevitably it always goes up. And I know a lot of people. I've heard some Schadenfreude from people who missed it, and that's what you're going to see, right? You're the people that when the price is up, people are quiet. Who missed it, right? When you told them, hey, historically this is probably a good time to buy. Anytime's a good time to buy. Think about it for your kids. Right? Don't think about it for you like you're going into a casino and putting, and you're getting exposure to black or red, right? If you want that, then do that. But if you're buying Bitcoin, assuming for the long term, like any rational investor, timing the market doesn't really matter. But when these people miss it and the price goes up, they don't talk about it. But when it pulls back, I can't wait to see Matty B. Ask him how it feels. How does it feel that the price is pulled back from 126 to 90K? How does it feel? I've been thinking about you. Someone actually said that to me. I was thinking about you when the price was pulling back. The price has come down a lot. I've been thinking about you. Like that's bizarre Schadenfreude, right? Thinking about the pain I must have been feeling. I suppose that's what he was getting at. Then I threw it in his face. Well, you're pretty happy because I told you to get in at 15.5. It's at 90K. That's probably the best advice anyone's ever given you in your life. No? Silence. But there's also that saying, right? People that something about missing the bull run. All the bears are just people that don't have exposure to the bull run. True to a certain degree, but then again, I mean, we kind of been here. I wanted to see where we are compared to last 2021. So what I mean by that is like the percentage of mentally, what were we feeling back when? Okay, so now we'll go here. Yeah, we're 28% from the all-time high. What were we thinking back in 2021 when we were 27% from the all-time high? What was the price and what was our mindset? Were we in denial? I'm going to assume we were in denial. But let's go 27% down from here. We're at 50K, essentially. We'd come down from 69 to 50K. We were still in hella denial at this point, right? 50K, we're good. We're good. A lot of people had 40K as a sell zone. You know, well, if it hits 40K, but you know how people work. Hits 40K and they're like, hey, hold on. It can't go down to 30K. I will stay in. It's going to go back up. Right? Of course it didn't. So at this point, you could see we are kind of, you know, we came down 30% and we had a little bear flag. You know, this is what some legacy analysts would call a bear flag. And of course it played out, it broke down. So are we kind of in a bear flag now? I would say, yeah, a little bit. In fact, I think I put a bear flag in here. So we are kind of reliving that whole experience. Now, not that it has to happen. I mean, if you think about it this way, the market cannot be as simple as a 4-year cycle. There's different factors that are in play, because if it was as simple as a 4-year cycle, that's not how the market works. The market wants to kill you. It doesn't want to give you notice as to where it's going. Oh, hey, everybody, we're about to pump here for the next 2 years. But in a roundabout way, in a long enough time horizon, it does. I mean, you get in where you get in. I know a lot of people on this stream right now probably got in the last bull market. So we see how violent it is. I kind of don't think we're going to see that violence, because these rent-seeking reptilian parasitic class that run the numbers are on their own schedule. They're on a political schedule. They're on a Fed cycle schedule. They're on an interest rate cycle. They're on a business cycle. They're on a money supply, liquidity cycle. All these things are massive when it comes to Bitcoin's price action. And I always use this metaphor. I use the essay. I did a podcast on Leaderhouse. The guy who did that podcast, I think I have the link in the description still. If you want to learn about the early days of Leaderhouse, you can go there. But we revisited, and the guitar player and I talked about it for about 2 hours. I'll put that in the link when it comes out. But the window wipers, right? So we have the 4-year cycle is when, maybe it would be better pronounced like this, talking to these pesky reporters. You have the window wipers that align on a bus, I'm talking about, public transit. And then they go out of sync. And then they sync up again. And for the first 3 cycles, just realizing what I'm doing here. For the first 3 cycles, when the halving came, we lined up. But now we're coming into a point where the powers that be, the reptilian rent-seeking parasitic class, are throwing in some of their cycles that will augment these window wipers. So we could enter 2026 historical bear market with a bunch of tailwinds from the bigger cycles. You get that? No, you didn't. You're just this stupid pleb reporter. You don't know anything. So that's where I think we could see a difference in the bear market. Today, we are having a little bit of a dump here, which is, nice, perfect timing for my stream, right? Couldn't be more perfect. I would think that this week, seeing as though we have kind of, a higher low, it's bullish, not bearish. It is a higher low. And then if we were to move along in a normal pace without any crazy dad rules or fundamentals, we would test resistance here. Now, we'd have to get over the 200 moving. And then, you can see how this could play out almost perfectly, can't you? We would go up just slowly, nothing exciting, couple $4,000 red candles out of nowhere for no reason. And then we'll pick up our shoes and get back in there. And then throw a long hair, don't care wick up above this channel of ascension's resistance, get denied, and come back down. And then, test another higher high, this channel of ascension. And perhaps if we get rejected from the bull market rejection zone, well, maybe, just maybe, that's all she wrote.
Make sure you like and subscribe and share this